Hello fantasy faithfuls and welcome to the live stream. I hope the video is good. I can't see the stuff on here, so I'm a little worried about this new YouTube, how it looks and all that. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear and see me. This new YouTube setup is really complicated for whatever reason. It says please stand by on my screen. You can barely hear me. Okay, that's at least some information. Let's see what we can do about that. Can you see me? Oh, my mic is really low. Let me pull up. There we go. You should be able to hear me a little bit better now. You can't see me. Okay. You can see me. Demetrius, you can't. Let me see if I can figure out what's going on before we start taking questions. Before that, I can shout out RedX, welcome to the stream. Happy to see you again. Demetrius, always a pleasure. Terrence, awesome to have you on board. Welcome to today. I hope, like I said, I'm not sure. Can you see me or can you not see me? That is the question. Let's see what's going on. You're good, Demetrius, you're good. Shane, welcome again today. Happy to have you on board. We should be again streaming today. Awesome. Okay, so there is video. Perfect. It's for me it's just a black screen says please stand by. It's terrible, but it is what it is. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. We got sound, we got video, and we got questions rolling in. Let's start with some Twitter questions that I lined up that you can see on your screen right now. The first one is from Dilly G with Michael Gallup or Jarvis Landry. I've been hyping up Gallup all week, so I'm gonna let Dilly G know that I would like to start Gallup in this game. I like Gallup this week and next week as well. I'm assuming as he's playing the Dolphins. So that was Dilly G on Twitter. Thank you so much for that one. Let's leave him a like. And then ask BDWY27, one of our regulars on Twitter. He asked about Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, or Matthew Stafford. And to me, it looks like Baker has the highest floor. He does not have the highest ceiling, but he has the lowest projection of anyone this week in that group. Allen and Stafford are fairly close in projection. Allen has a much lower risk than Stafford, who has an extreme amount of risk for a fantasy quarterback, while Baker Mayfield has a really low one. I like that high floor for Mayfield, and he has an incredibly high boom chance. So I'm going to roll with Baker in this sense. I like the floor, and he has very low risk and a very high boom chance, even though the opponent is much easier for Josh Allen. Like Baker with his floor. Thank you so much for that question on Twitter. I'm going to get to the YouTube questions right now. Let's bring that up. So let's see what we've got. Take one at a time. Demetrius with the first question on Twitter, and you can see down below here what I was struggling with to figure out on one of my teams if I was starting one of these receivers, not Adam Thielen in that league. I ended up starting Tyrell Williams. He had much higher protection, even though he has a lower floor than the other guys. Not the highest of ceilings, but high risk as well. I needed somebody to score quite a lot on that league since Mike Evans kind of screwed the pooch again. So I went with the one with the highest projection, even though he had more risk. Demetrius, your first question. Let's dig in. What kicker are guys rolling with this week? Matt Prater, Brandon McManus. Didn't he retire? Didn't McManus retire? Or am I dreaming that? No, he plays for the Broncos. I really thought he retired. Who was the kicker who retired? He still plays. Oh, okay. My bad. I need to add him. As you can see, I don't have a projection for him. Where did I read that he retired? No idea. Chris Boswell. Jake Elliott. Cairo Santos. Oh, that's a lot of kids. Randy Bullock. Don't know what Saber has first name cut. Amy Fairbairn. What is Saber's first name? Let me Google that real quick. Got a bunch of doctors. Kicker. Austin. Do I have him? No projection for him. Janikowski retired, not Mananas. But it was another kicker who hasn't been kicking in the league for that long that retired. Or did he? Freak. I knew I heard that on NFL podcast. But anyway, with these kickers, let's look at the projection. Who has the highest one is Cairo Santos has the highest one, followed by Kimi Fairbairn, who has a lower floor than Santos, so he would be the one seeing as they almost have the same ceiling. Higher boom chance for Santos. Pretty easy opponent for both of them. They gave up a lot of points to kickers last week in Carolina. Oh, no, not Carolina. With Jacksonville. Who did the tight end play? The Browns. So I would roll with Carlos Santos. I like kickers in Tennessee. It's usually a good idea. I used to be a huge suck-up fan. He would get a ton of points for me a lot of times. So I'm kind of sold on tight ends kickers. If I'm drafting something from the tight ends, it's usually a tight end with Delaney Walker or a kicker with suck-up. There we go. He plays Indy. So he got a little lower projection when I changed from the error with who his opponent was. But I would still roll with Santos, followed by Fairbairn and Prater in that order. Santos, Fairbairn, Prater. Those would be my kicker picks. Fairbairn is one of my favorites in general, just because I think he has a very fun name to say. Fairbairn. I think that's awesome. Let me say hi to Poker Lemon. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board as always. Sander Esme, happy to see you again. I'm good. How about you? You doing good? Sherman Jones, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Always a pleasure. Let's go with Shane's flex PPR question in Giovanni Bernard. Tyler Lockett. Giovanni Bernard. Did I do that the wrong way? Giovanni Bernard. Bam. And the person I will tell you to start in Michael Gallup. Let's check the PPR numbers. They should be on screen. Yes, they are. Perfect. So we're back with PPR numbers. Now I have. That's wrong though. It should be. I believe it should be 4 receptions for Gallup. So it should be down to 14 total points and not 7. I don't know what happened there, but I have a video with Gallup for four catches. So these numbers are a little bit off. It should be 4. So it should be 14 for both of them in PPR. I know Lockett is destined for 4 receptions as well. So it's 14 for both of them. Higher risk for Gallup. So in standard, I would have gone with the higher floor, higher ceiling. I thought I was gonna say Michael Gallup, but I'll have to say Tyler Lockett. He has a higher floor, lower risk, higher ceiling, and this is a little bit off with the receptions. It should be 4-4 and not 1-7. So I might need to look over the formula showing receptions I've looked at these two specifically before, and that's why I know exactly what to have. So take the PPR a little bit with a grain of salt today, since the formula seems to be a little bit off, but not Gio. I will go Tyler Lockett. That was Shane for your flex. I like Lockett this week. Well, I like Lockett pretty much every week. I think he's a fantastic player. I'm in love with Marquis Gallup for this week and next as well. So if I'm telling you to go Lockett over Gallup, you can assume that I'm doing that based on facts, especially since I believe we're gonna crush the Redskins today. Let go. Next question, Demetrius. Also, Chris Thompson or Shady McCoy? Chris Thompson or LaShawn McCoy? What do we got? 8.3 for Shady, higher floor, lower risk, much higher ceiling. Plays at home versus Oakland plays away versus Oakland versus home versus Dallas. Even though Dallas gave up a lot of points to running backs, I would still roll with LaShawn on the better offense with the high projection, lower risk. He has all the numbers in favor for him. He even has pretty much the same bust chance with much higher floor and the same boom chance with a much higher ceiling. So I will go Shady even though I don't like him. That was Demetrius. Thank you for that question. And you got another one in the Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans DSTs. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. I got Tennessee for 9.5. Really high risk. Same floor. Higher ceiling. Low bust chance though. That's nice. Little bit lower boom chance for them. The Jets have not been adjusted for a new quarterback. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm still working on a formula to adjust for quarterback injuries. I've just created a formula to adjust for depth chart changes week to week. So I'm extremely excited about that for wide receivers. That's going to increase the reliability of the formula even more when players get hurt. So I'm super excited about that. That's going to roll out next week and increase by the projection accuracy. But I still haven't figured that out for quarterbacks, how to create a formula that impacts the algorithm. So I would have to go with the Cleveland, Tennessee Titans based on not the Tennessee Titans. No, the Tennessee Titans based on these numbers, even though they have such a high risk. I think they're gonna be good against Indy and have a couple of turnovers. Even though I think the Browns are a good pick as well. If I can, I'm starting the Titans. Let's see. That was Poker Lemon, had no question. Sunresme had no question. Sherman Jones have a question. No, that was just Janikowski retired. Here we go. Mark Andrews from Sunresme. Mark Andrews, Latavius Murray, Rex Burkhead. You have Andrews locked in for now. You're looking for a flex. It looked to be standard scoring. Higher projection for Andrews, a really high risk, highest floor, lowest ceiling, high boom bust chance even with a floor that low. That's quite disturbing. High boom chance though, so that's good. All of them are playing defenses that struggled against their position last week. Highest projection, lowest risk, same floor, highest ceiling. I'm inclined to go Latavius Murray out of these ones. I think he has a good opportunity to run in a couple of touchdowns, and he has the numbers in his favor, both security-wise, as everybody has the same floor, but he has the lowest risk of not reaching 9.6 with the highest ceiling if he can get 2 touchdowns, for instance. And that offense is balling. Even though Rex has a favorable matchup, Rex Burkhead is playing the defense that gave up third amount of points to running backs last week, but the Rams gave up the second amount of points to running backs, and they gave up the second amount of points to tight ends. I still believe that Latavius Murray is the right pick out of these 3. Chilling this morning. Yeah, I've been hard at work this morning trying to figure out some tax issues. and stuff like that, and been working on the newsletter for csdfantasy.com. So that's gonna come out Tuesday and Thursday from now on, with updates on the waiver wire and score prediction picks. Also, don't forget to check out all of our video content here on YouTube. This week it was Fantasy Snapshots, 2 of them with John Ross and Michael Gallup. Next week we're doing a head-to-head with hopefully Joe Mixon and James Conner. Thanks to a number 3 here on YouTube who left a comment on one of the videos, asked for those 2 players. So that's going to be extremely exciting to do a comparison of those 2. Dan, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board as always. Such a pleasure to see you. I still can't decide. I'm playing my fantasy nemesis this week. He has CMC, so since he didn't produce, I want the safest choice. Who is safer? Jarvis Landry or Matt Breida? There we go. Lower projection, lower risk, but roughly the same when the risk is that, so that's fine. Higher floor for Landry, higher ceiling, little high bust chance, but I'm okay with that when the floor is 2-point difference. I think Landry is the safer pick this week. I think he's going to have 4 receptions on top of the projection of 7 points. 44.7% risk for 7 points is not high at all for wide receivers. You can compare that to like Devontae Adams. Let's see what he got. Well, he had extremely low risk, so okay, that was a bad comparison. That was pretty. 12% risk is nothing. Wide receivers usually end up in the 60s. If they're in the 80s, I think it's high. So 44.7 is nothing for a wide receiver, and I think he's the safe pick this week. So that was. Did you say it was PPR, Dan? Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, then definitely Jarvis Landry PPR. Nifty Main, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. Singletary or McCoy? I don't have projections for rookies until week 5, so I'm not going to put that on the screen. I can put up LaShawn McCoy and tell you I would go Singletary. I think he's going to have more than 8.3 points, but I have no numbers to back that up, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. Here on CSD Fantasy, as y'all know, who's been here in the past, I don't like to make uninformed opinions or uninformed advice, or advice that I haven't done research for. I tend to just I give a disclaimer that this is my opinion based on just football knowledge and not based on the statistics, to keep it as separate as possible if I've done research or not. So that's a disclaimer on that one, Nifty Main. You traded Zeke, Allen Robinson, and Jags defense for Connor, Singletary, McCoy, and Green Bay defense. You traded away Zeke? Oh man, whoa! I feel lightheaded. Traded Zeke. Jags defense. I mean, if Singletary breaks out, you can go away with it. Connor doesn't look extremely good right now. But you have McCoy, so you traded pretty much Zeke's floor and ceiling with Robinson's ceiling for a bunch of potentials. I think you went a little brave on that trade. I probably would have I would have stayed with Zeke. In any league that he was before the holdout my highest rated player, and now with him back he is still that. Sauce Money, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. David Montgomery or Devontae Freeman in standard? You're so torn. Again, let's bring up Devontae Freeman on the screen and talk about David Montgomery. I have a very low projection for Freeman this week. I think they're gonna try to pass the ball a lot here at home and try to make a statement for home fans. I live in Atlanta, and they've been torched in the press over the last week. People are down. People even said that we need to come out and support them the same way we do with Atlanta United in soccer. So this is football in the South, and they're saying we need soccer fans to show up and show how to be fans. That's how down people are on the Falcons right now. So I think they will have to come out, throw it. They will give Julio a bunch of targets this week. Calvin Ridley will have a few, and Sanu will be involved. Unless they can pull away, which I don't think. Philly is good. Freeman is not going to run that much. I think they're going to ease him in. And that front seven for Philadelphia is strong. Well, especially the front four. So I would probably start David Montgomery in this week. Out of those two, let's just bring up Denver struggled to give up. Yeah, they gave up a lot of points to running backs last week, so it's not a terrible matchup for a running back to play Denver. That was Sauce Money. By the way, love that name. I think it's fantastic. Agent, happy to see you. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. Hello. Tariq Cohen or Duke Johnson? Tariq Cohen. Let's bring him up on the screen again. And Duke Johnson. High projection. Higher risk though. Much higher risk. Almost twice as high. Or twice as high. Lower floor, lower ceiling, higher bust chance, higher boom chance though. Jacksonville struggled against the run in week 1, but that was against Kansas City. Everybody struggles against everything for Kansas City. Again, Denver was not the strongest of run defenses in week 1. I don't think they're going to be that strong. They're more catered to the pass rush than to stopping the run. Tariq Cohen will have opportunities. I'm actually starting him this week in one league. Did you say, Agent, if it's PPR? Let's just look at the PPR numbers real quick. I have Tariq Cohen for 8 receptions this week, so that's in PPR. I would definitely start Cohen, but I'm starting Cohen in standard as well. I think he's safe and has a lot of upside for this week. Demetrius, Santos, Prater, Fairbairn in that order. Wasn't it Santos, Fairbairn, Prater? Carl, Santos. Let me just double check that before I say anything. Kaimi and Matt Prater. Yeah, it was Santos, Fairbairn, Prater in that order. I'm pretty sure. Sandra me. One more for me. Deshaun Jackson, we got Singletary, so let's just put him down below here. Yes, as a side note, I don't care if I misspelled him. Chris Thompson for flex PPR. I have him projected, but it's a high risk. This is, like I said, with wide receivers, you want to, usually they're in the 70s. If they're in the 80s, it's risky. 93 is extreme risk, but it's a high projection, lower floor, high ceiling though. Oh, excuse me. The Falcons, it will be a high-scoring game, I'm pretty sure. I'm not the biggest of Deshaun Jackson fans. I have him for 8 receptions is wrong. It should be 4 and be like 3.5 Chris Thompson then. I think Chris is going to have a role. Both of these are extremely even in my book. Safety-wise, as 93.7 for 14. That he's going to reach that is going to be extremely difficult, but he has a higher ceiling. Both of them are terrible floors. But in PPR, I think Thompson is the safer pick, and standard, it will be Deshaun Jackson. But I don't think we're going to see what he did last week over and over again for Deshaun. I think Chris Thompson is showing more and more how valuable he is to that offense, and even though they didn't look amazing against Philadelphia, it's still a division game that they're going to put up a fight against the Cowboys. Definitely. Poker Lemon, Philip Lindsay. He has 2 L's, doesn't he? Boom, like the Philippines. And Joe Mixon. Is he ruled active? Is he fine with the ankle? he tweeted game day 3 hours ago, so he's questionable. Bengals Joe Mixon isn't active. He's active, while Mike Williams is also active, and Antonio Brown. So he is active. So people who want to start Bernard might be a little scared. But what was this? This is PPR. I would go with Lindsey in PPR. 4 receptions versus 2. Higher projection. Both of them are low risk. I'm not reaching that projection because both are very low. It's a very difficult matchup for Lindsey. But I'm a little bit scared of the ankle. So even though he's active, how big is his workload going to be? Lindsey has a higher floor, higher ceiling, a little higher bust chance, roughly the same boom chance. I would have to start Lindsey over Mixon this week, even though I'm not super comfortable in starting any of them. I've benched Lindsey in 2 leagues for Mark Ingram, of course, and I can't remember the other one. I can't remember. So I'm not extremely happy on either of those picks, but I have to go Lindsey if I'm picking one of them. Demetrius Byrd, Singletary, or Latavius Murray. Again, with Singletary, I can just show you the Murray numbers and say I'm quite confident in Murray this week, but I will go Singletary for upside in this regard. With the unknown, I think he's gonna have a bit more touches. I'm not extremely hype on him to the point where like you have to start him. Which one was the other one with Singletary? Deshaun Jackson, Singletary, Chris Thompson. I would go Chris Thompson over Singletary, but I would go Singletary over Latavius Murray for upside if that's what I'm looking for. If I'm going for a safer pick, Latavius Murray definitely. Much safer. Because we don't know enough about Singletary right now. Where was that question? I lost that one. Nifty Mania was standard scoring on your question with Zeke and with Singletary and McCoy. Okay. Yeah, I had McCoy in that one. Also with the safety. Agent, you forgot to say standard. With Tariq and Duke. I'm still going Tariq Cohen. I think he's going to have a good game this week with the numbers in his favor as well. Owen Carroll, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Starts at Mixon or Peterson, non-PPR. Joe Mixon, Adrian Peterson. I've been trying to get Peterson on my team for this week, but you can see I'm not extremely high on him. I wanted him for the future. I stashed him 1. I'm not starting him this week. As you see, his ceiling is 15.1, so it's a lower ceiling. His floor is lower than Mixon, lower projection, same amount of risk, higher boom chance. He has a higher bust chance, of course, with a higher ceiling. With a higher floor. So I'm starting Joe Mixon over Adrian Peterson. Even though I'm a little unsure about that ankle, I'm still unsure about Peterson's fitness level, if that makes sense. This will be his first game. So he didn't have week 1 to kind of get into a groove like most other players. So what people say that he's going to run angry, fine, but Dallas run defense will play angry based on that. They kind of gave up a lot to Saquon last week. So I would go Mixon in that one. That was Owen Carroll. Thank you for that question. Fatty Beats, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Which wide receiver full PPR with Kenny Stills? What did I just do? Kenny Stills, Jarvis Landry, Stephon Diggs, and John Ross. And I see more questions coming in from people down below. I will get to them eventually. We have plenty of time. We have 30 more minutes. I'm going to try to speed up the process a little bit more to try to get everybody in. Let me get a sip of coffee and some water. And get to Fatty Beats' question. Let's do this. This was Fatty Beats for full PPR. Extreme high risk for Ross this week, but he has an incredibly high projection. His ceiling is just 1 point ahead of that projection. Stephon Diggs, I'm a little bit lower on him for this week. Jarvis Landry 7.6 for Stills, but that should not be too much in PPR. We have Ross 4, that shouldn't be 7. I don't remember the video what I have in. I think it's 6, but it's still high risk, high reward with Ross. And the safest pick here would be Jarvis Landry. So, Fetty Beats, what do you need? Are you okay with putting up an egg or 2 eggs with a 0 with John Ross, or do you want the safer player with Jarvis Landry? Those are the 2 options for me here. I still think Ross and Landry might have roughly the same amount of receptions this week. But for me, I would roll with Ross this week. It's so much upside right now with him that if you're trying to win a league where it's going to be tight, Ross has the chance to be the edge, while Landry is a safer pick. I sat Landry for Michael Gallup this week in one league where I really need a lot of points. It's a tough matchup, and I'd rather gamble to get the higher upside. That was starts in mixing in non-PPR. That was over, and we covered that one, so that's good. And Neptune Edits, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Pick 2, half-point PPR. Joe Mixon, James White, who it will probably be. And for everybody who's joined the stream, I don't have predictions for rookies until week 5, so we'll just give an uneducated opinion or unresearched opinion on Devin Singletary. But for PPR purposes, I'm going James White. I've been going quite heavy Patriot this week. I think they're going to be good, especially the running backs. If they put up a bunch of points, I think they're going to get away from the pass and move over to runs and short checkdown passes in that game. And James White is perfect in that sense. I have Sony Michel quite highly projected as well with 7.9. Oh, not as high as James White. So James White is probably my highest ranked Patriot running back for this week, but I'm very comfortable starting him this week, especially PPR. It was half-point PPR. I'm good in half-point PPR with White as well. Sleek, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board as always. It's been a while. I'm glad to see your name again. Half-point PPR, Dede Westbrook. Marquis Brown. Am I drawing a blank? Yeah. Hollywood. I actually was drawing a blank what his full name was. So again, no prediction for rookies. So before I get into this, if you enjoyed the stream, please leave a like. It helps a ton. I know we have a lot more people on board this week, so I'm really excited about that. It's a ton of questions. It's a ton of fun doing this, but just hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton and lets other people know that this is good content if you're looking for fantasy start-sit advice on the fly, and I get to every question. I will increase the speed as well on this as we move closer to kickoff to make sure that we get to all questions. I see some likes falling in straight away. Guys, y'all are freaking awesome. I love y'all so much. And let's get back to Sleek's question with Dede Westbrook, Marquis Brown, half-point PPR. Again, safer pick with Dede Westbrook. I think, whoops, did something. I have him for 5 receptions this week with 7.1 risk. Is decent for a wide receiver, nothing too extreme. Okay floor, not the highest of ceilings. High boom chance though, so it's a big chance that he might outscore that 10.8. I'm okay with that. Not nothing too shabby with the bust risk as well. While of course Marquis Brown is going to be the higher ceiling and lower floor pick this week. If you're willing to gamble that he'll catch another deep ball, you can go with that. But in half-point PPR, if it would have been full-point PPR, Westbrook is a no-brainer to me. Half-point is a little bit more iffy, but to me, I would have started Dede out of the two. I think he's much safer. But if you need that boom-bust game, go with Brown and try to just hope that he catches one of those deep balls again. Agent Allen Robinson and another rookie. Is a lot of rookie questions. I know y'all want to know about these rookies, but as I said, Robinson, you can't make any statistical analysis on somebody who's only played one game in the NFL. It's just the sample size is way too small. It's too small with 4 games, but I at least can make some assumptions with that in the books. But one game, it's impossible, and it's not going to be reliable. And the sites that try to do it themselves, I just don't trust, like ESPN and them doing projections for rookies. We don't know what they are, even if they play one game and Hollywood Brown scores a bunch of touchdowns on deep balls. Yes, that was good, but will he do that every week? No. It's just not going to happen. And you can project all you want, but at the end of the day, it's going to be unreliable. Allen Robinson, 7.8, low risk, okay floor, pretty high ceiling, no bust chance to talk about, high boom chance. Denver gave up 19th most points to wide receivers. That's not too much. What's this? Standard scoring. And the Cowboys defense, let's just bring up Sterling Shepard real quick. No, not him. Who am I thinking of? Paul Richardson am I thinking of. Dallas gave up the 24th most points to wide receivers last week, so they have a good pass defense, and especially they started giving up yards to wide receivers and yards in general because they were leading by so much. I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I prefer Allen Robinson. Poker Lemon, Lindsey Murray, he's in. Awesome. Glad to help, as always. Lamar Jackson from Fatty beats Lamar Jackson or Tom Brady. Higher prediction for Brady, lower risk, higher floor, higher ceiling, but you and opponent rank. Even this is. I've talked about Lamar Jackson before, and his numbers are so heavily impacted on what he did early last year that I'm still looking for a solution for this. I'm not sitting Lamar Jackson for anything except Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes this week. Don't care what my algorithm says. It's impacted by when he wasn't QB1. I'm going Lamar Jackson over Tom Brady. That's just it is what it is, and right now you can't sit him. Quarterbacks. It's crazy that you have both Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady, but I'm going Lamar. I think when they win too much in New England, they just put Brady out the game and let the running backs handle the situation. That was Fatty B. Thank you for that. Agent, I feel like the Redskins will have to pass a lot this week. I think it will be a lot of passes. I just don't think it's going to be that successful. And if it's going to be successful, it will have to be to a lot of different receivers. You can't just lock in on one guy against Dallas. But it is a lot of upside with Terry McLaurin, I guess you pronounce that. But there's a lot of upside with Allen Robinson as well. Jerome St. Pierre Paradis. Hi, mister. Thanks for your stream. Always nice to read and watch your videos. I got a dilemma this week. Standard, Sony Michel or Austin Eckler. I have Cook and Connor on the play. Thanks in advance. Happy to have you on board, Jerome. Appreciate your kind words and happy to help with your question. Nice that you read the content, and I can do a quick plug before we get to this question. Head over to csdfantasy.com where you can find more numbers with weekly score projection, must starts, and high risk, high reward players. On Tuesdays, there's the waiver wire article with players I'm targeting. For this week, it was, I can't remember, but it was a couple of wide receivers. With the sort of Michael Gallup and I believe Tyrell Williams as well. Next week, it will be back to normal, where I will analyze who is least owned across the NFL and see who has the best projections out of that group. So that's on Tuesday. Let's see what we have here. We have standard. We have Sony Michel or Austin Eckler. You have Cook and Connor, James Connor, and Dalvin Cook for this week. I got Eckler for extreme risk, of course, and Cook with the highest projections. But Sony Michel has the best matchup, but I don't put that much into that. He has a higher floor than Eckler and a higher ceiling. Boom chance for Eckler, but the projection is so high for Eckler. It's, of course, he's high risk, high reward this week again. You can't sit him with what they do in Los Angeles right now, and I will have to start him over Sony Michel. I would start Michel over James Conner, though. I would play Michel, Eckler, and Cook this week out of those four. That was Jerome. Thank you for that question, Jerome. Happy to have you here, as I just said. Neptune, no worries. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you being on here as well. Having questions for me, it makes the live stream extremely entertaining to do. Alex Smith, this is what happens when players get hurt. They come and watch the CSD live stream. I hope your leg feels better, but I'm glad you're not on the Redskins and we only have to play Case Keenum. Anyway, Alex Smith, glad that you're here. Happy to have you on the stream. We have Philip Lindsay or Latavius Murray and Joe Mixon. Lindsay. There we go. Bam. Latavius Murray has the highest projection, but he has higher risk, lowest floor, and lowest ceiling. But a really weak opponent. Like I said, I've been sitting Lindsay. I'm okay with the risk with Murray. He has no bust chance or bust risk whatsoever. Murray is the safer pick here, just in general. While I believe that Mixon has the highest upside this week, even though Lindsay's ceiling is always going to be higher based on what he's done and a higher floor, but this week's projection is low, combined with the risk and combined that he's playing Chicago, who just looks balling on defense. So I would probably go with Latavius Murray. If I need safe points and if I need upside, I'll have to go Mixon over Lindsay. That was Alex Smith. Thank you for that question. And Demetrius, if my opponent has Julio and I have Matt Ryan, should I pick up Goff or Derek Carr to keep Matt Ryan? Or keep Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, or Derek Carr. I still think you want to keep Matt Ryan. I don't think the other ones are going to put up the same amount of points as Ryan. He has so much high floor, high ceiling, low risk compared to Derek Carr, lower but highest projection as well. I would still roll with Matt Ryan, because if Julio is going to put up bonkers points, who has to get him the ball? That's Matt Ryan. So at least you know if Julio is doing it, your quarterback is at least getting a certain amount of that points, and he can get more points than Julio because he can pass to other players. So I would keep Matt Ryan. I'm starting him in 2 leagues this week. Joe Mixon, Tyrell Williams, or Calvin Ridley. This from Z-Phil. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. With your first question, is a PPR flex with these 3 players. Tyrell Williams has the highest risk but the highest prediction. Lower risk for Calvin Ridley with just a little bit lower prediction. Roughly the same floor, much higher ceiling for Ridley. Decent opponent and PPR. I have Williams edging out Ridley in PPR. If this would have been standard, I would have started Ridley, but in PPR, I'm starting Williams. I think he's going to catch passes, even though that Ridley has the better opportunity in standard scoring. Thank you for that question. Should I run Stephon Diggs at flex with Cohen and Gurley as my running backs, or Jordan Howard and Gurley with Cohen at flex from Fetty Beats? Stephon Diggs, I think I know. I just want to get it up on the screen. Tariq Cohen and Todd Gurley. Jordan Howard, Gurley. We don't have to. His name is not Howard. Oh, I actually have a higher projection for Howard than Cohen. Should I run Stephon Diggs at flex with Cohen Gurley as my rival, or Jordan Howard and Gurley with Cohen at flex? Yes. I think go with the running back stack in this case that way. I have such a low projection for Diggs, even though he has low risk to reach it. He has a tough opponent. I would go with the running back stack with all three of them, even though I'm not a Jordan Howard fan. That should be stated. I made a video about him earlier this year where I just trashed how he fits with the Eagles. I don't think he's going to be amazing over the course of the season. But in this case, I'm going the running back stack. No, Sleek, don't worry about it. People ask rookie questions. It's no problem at all. It's just that I don't want to give definitive advice on rookies. I can give my opinion on it. That's fine. I just don't want you to live and die by my rookie advice. Sleek wants to know with Christian Kirk. That's not how you spell it. Christian Kirk. There we go. Will Fuller. Vernon Davis. Or Latavius Murray. High risk for Davis. Highest prediction for Murray. Highest floor for, is this half point PPR? You need two. Christian Kirk and Latavius Murray in my book. Lower predict, but in PPR. Let me check the PPR. No. Vernon Davis and Latavius Murray in PPR. My bad. Latavius Murray and Vernon Davis in PPR. Yeah, half point PPR as well. Half point PPR as well. That was Sleek. Thank you, Sleek. Hamburger Helper, love that name. Welcome to the stream. That's fantastic. We've had the Deshaun Jackson, Devin Singletary question up before, and I said Deshaun is the safer pick, but if you want to go for upside that I can't show research on, you can go with Singletary. I like his running style, but I just don't know how many how many carries he's going to get and what they're doing in Buffalo. If I want crazy upside, go with Singletary. If I want known upside, go with Jackson. So he's a little bit safer pick, even though he's still extremely polarizing with a high prediction, with a high risk, low floor, high ceiling, no bust chance, and not to have a boom chance either. But yeah, that's my opinion on that one. King Kearns, welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. Michael Gallup or Tyler Boyd. Let's get this one up. Two of my favorite players in general. Higher prediction for Gallup, but a much higher risk, of course. Lower floor, lower ceiling, bust chance roughly the same. Higher boom chance. Terrible opponent, stronger opponent. It's again a question of risk and upside, but was this PPR or standard? Doesn't say. I'm still going Gallup. He has almost twice as high projection as Boyd, even though he has a lot of risk. I think it's so much upside with him this week that I'm going Gallup. That was King Kearns. Thank you for that one. As I'm gonna say it one more time, if you enjoyed the stream, leave a like. It helps the channel a ton. I appreciate everybody being here, asking questions, and just ask a little bit of support and for those likes to get the stream out to more people. Dab Wizard, your question: should I get Ronald Jones off of waivers? Who are your running backs that you have right now that you would be willing to bench for Ronald Jones? My opinion right now is don't get Ronald Jones off of waivers. Jerome, oh yeah, really, thanks man, really appreciate it. Mercy, oh, happy to help, Jerome, always a pleasure. I don't know how to say you're welcome in French though. Sundress me, thanks man, love the stream, see you next week. See you next week, happy to have you on board as always. Dab Wizard, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay, or Mike Williams. Marvin Jones, Mike Williams, or Kenny Galladay. And PPR, I have Galladay highest predicted. Sorry about that train. Highest predicted in standard. Highest predicted in PPR as well. So I would go Kenny Galladay. I just put him in my lineup in 2 leagues this just before the stream starts. So I would start Kenny Galladay. Austin Powers, love that name. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. If you enjoy the stream, please leave a like. Tyler Boyd or Mark Ingram at flex is going to be Mark Ingram. I believe I have him extremely highly ranked, and I made a video earlier this offseason how well he fits with what the Ravens do in the running game. Even though they're playing Arizona, I believe he's going to put up big numbers this week. I'm moving a little faster as we only have a couple of minutes left of the stream. So thank you for that, Austin. Z Phil, no problem. Happy to help. Brian Gallucci, welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. If you enjoy it, please leave a like. John Ross or Brandon Cooks. Much higher prediction, but much higher risk. Higher floor, higher ceiling. High bust chance for Brandon Cooks, though. But when the prediction is almost twice as high, the risk is fine. I will go with John Ross over Brandon Cooks this week. Federbeats, thank you, brother. I appreciate your help and be back next Sunday. Happy to help you. I really hope you come back next Sunday. We're going to have as good of a time next one. And you have one more, no problem at all. TJ Hawkinson and Zach Ertz. I'm starting Zach Ertz. I can bring him up. He's still Zach Ertz. That's all I got to say. Start your studs. When it's a star play like that, when it's a top 3 tight end, I would start him. Mark Ingram or Aaron Jones in PPR for Shane. Mark Ingram is a must start for me almost right now until he shows that he's not. I think he runs the B gap, and I will get a video on the B gap, A gap, and C gap, and all the running lanes up in a few weeks that you can check out to understand more what I'm talking about. But mainly, the Ravens run the most running backs up the B gap, and Mark Ingram was the running back that had the highest yards per carry in the B gap in the entire NFL last year outside of the Ravens running back. So when he moved over there, I knew he was going to do great things. So unless he proves me otherwise, I will keep starting him. Poker Lemon, go Vikings. No, go Cowboys. Vikings, I guess, is okay. Is okay. Bienvenue. Is that you're welcome in French? So it's sort of like Benvenuto or something like that in Bienvenue. I can say 9 in French. Enough. We got ITSQ exclamation point. Welcome to the stream. Happy to have you on board. If you enjoy it, please leave a like. James White, Joe Mixon, or Miles Sanders is a rookie. Everybody who's watched the stream know that I love James White this week. I think he's going to do great things with a higher prediction. Sure, he has higher risk, but Joe Mixon has a much lower prediction. Roughly the same ceiling, even though Mixon has a higher floor. Crazy good opponent for James White. This is PPR. I have James White catching 5 passes. So PPR definitely James White. That was ITSQ. Happy to help with that question, and thank you so much for leaving it. Raymond Sotelo, hope I pronounced that correctly. Welcome to stream. Happy to have you on board. If you enjoy it, please leave a like as well. Chris Carson. I'm moving fast now. Chris Carson versus Steelers or Sony Michel. I like Michel too, but I love Chris Carson. 13.1 prediction. He has a higher risk, but the risk is based off of the projection. So with a higher prediction comes a higher risk, higher floor, not a higher ceiling though. much higher boom chance. Decent opponent for both of them, but I'm going Chris Carson. He's almost in that sack urge, start your studs type situation. I think he needs to be started until he shows, well, like Mark Ingram as well, that you start them until they show that they can't be started no more. Poker we play in week 10. I haven't looked at the Cowboys schedule that deep into it. I'm more excited about the Dolphins game next week. I think they're going to put up big numbers in that game as well. DJ Moore from Jerome, Brandon Cooks, not Christian Kirk, Mike Williams, and you got McLaurin, and let's do that, and DK. It's really low projections for all of these, low risk, but they have no projection to talk about. Highest floor, highest ceiling. So out of those, it would be, did we say PPR? Standard. Out of these, it would be Brandon Cooks. But with these involved, I don't want to speak too much of them. In my book, I would roll with Brandon Cooks of all these guys. Jerome. Raymond, thank you so much for hitting that like button. I very, very much appreciate it. We have a couple more minutes, so let me just say thank you all so much for joining me here today. It's been a pleasure answering Start Sit questions. I had so much fun. I hope you enjoyed the stream as well. For more CSD Fantasy content, check out every video here on YouTube. Next week, we're looking at Joe Mixon and James Conner heading into week 3. Tuesday, waiver wire article on csdfantasy.com. Wednesday, don't forget to check out the new podcast with Nick Faber and Carlton Daniel and me. We're talking our review of week 2 and what we expect from week 3 in fantasy. Be sure to check that out, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday here on YouTube. But of course, it will be on demand after that as well. Thursday, it's the score projection and risk analysis as always on CSD Fantasy with updated rankings and projections for week 3. And then the live stream next Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern time here as always. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate every nice comment y'all left. Whoops, that loud. And I hope you do really well in fantasy unless you play me. And I will see you all again next week. Go Cowboys.